Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. The headlines. Ned Nwoko Foundation steps up anti-malarial campaign in Nigeria, pledges support for a new legal framework to develop vaccine. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma accuses politicians of funding banditry to run down the Buhari administration, just as former Minister of Education Obi Ezekwesili slams President Buhari for publicly supporting the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, over his past stance on terrorism. India records more COVID-19 deaths as shortage of oxygen threatens efforts at containing the pandemic in the country. I am Nkiru Omuli with the details. As Africa awaits a vaccine for malaria, a prevalent disease on the continent, Nigeria billionaire Ned Nwoko has stressed the need for clean environment, a home environment that is, to reduce breeding of mosquitoes, a major cause of malaria. Nwoko, a former federal lawmaker who gave the advice, said already his foundation has concluded plans to carry out fumigation across Nigeria. Clearview TV's Mercy Eke completes the reports.
Nwoko was speaking at the end of the walk in Abuja City, where the Ned Nwoko Foundation carried out a sensitization campaign for people to promote cleanliness of their homes, offices, drainages, and the entire environment to keep mosquitoes at bay. Beyond ridding the nation of malaria through the maintenance of good hygiene,
fumigation will, on its own, create nothing less than 500,000 jobs. But we're not talking about the kind of fumigation that we do in our various homes now, where you fumigate your homes today, then the next day, all the mosquitoes will come back again. No, we're talking about holistic fumigation from one end of Nigeria to the other. This means that there'll be a lockdown. As I said earlier, there'll be a total lockdown for a period of time, maybe a day or 2 days, because there will be area fumigation, there will be ground fumigation, there will be sea fumigation.
The National President of Nigerian Association of Journalists, Ladi Bala, urges Nigerians to take responsibility over their health and avoid self-medications.
Federal government has done a lot, but I must tell you that it is not enough. Until malaria is completely stamped out of Nigeria, we still have a lot of work to do. The federal government has a lot of work to do. Not all fevers result into malaria, so people need to take appropriate tests to determine whether the feverish condition they're experiencing is as a result of malaria or not. So nobody should embark on treatment without first seeking medical advice.
Chuks Elduba is a project coordinator for Ned Nwoko Malaria Foundation. He says the foundation will soon forward to the National Assembly for consideration a bill to set up an agency that will see to the sustainable eradication of malaria in Nigeria.
For us, we are not talking about treatments. For us, we are talking about eradication from the grass, from the root cause, right? So that's why we are calling for an environmental sanitation to get rid of stagnant waters that breed mosquitoes. And we are also agitating for a bill to set up an agency that will see that to the sustainable eradication of malaria in Nigeria.
According to reports, there are an estimated 100 million cases of malaria with over 300,000 deaths per year in Nigeria. This compares with 215,000 deaths per year in Nigeria from HIV/AIDS. Hope is, however, on the horizon, as a team of researchers at the Oxford University has just reported 77% success of a malaria vaccine that has already undergone trial in Burkina Faso. Mercy Eke, reporting for Clearview Television.
The Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has accused politicians of funding a banditry to run down the present administration. He made the allegation while briefing reporters shortly after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. The governor, who condemned the recent attacks by armed bandits on communities, especially in the northern part of the country, challenges security agencies to urgently reveal the names of their sponsors. He also condemned the call for secession, stressing that criminals, particularly in Imo, were a combination of individuals within and outside the state. Rivers State Governor Imo Wike says every support must be given to armed forces in order to win the battle against terrorism and many other security challenges now ravaging the country. Speaking when he received the Chief of Defense Staff, Governor Wike says no right-thinking person would want to support the equipping of, will not support rather the equipping of the military, saying his administration will continue to give the armed forces all the support they need to carry out their jobs effectively in the state.
General Lucky Rabo was in Rivers State to attend the commissioning of some officers into the Nigerian Navy and also to meet with commanders and personnel of the armed forces involved in Operation Delta Save. The Chief of Defense Staff used the occasion to commend the Rivers State government for their support for the armed forces.
I've received a report of your support and the support of the state government as well as the people of Rivers State to the members of the armed forces and the conduct of their affairs, and I'd like to use this opportunity to thank you, Your Excellency, very immensely.
While suing for peace in the state, the Army General disclosed that peace and harmony were essential ingredients for socio-economic activities to thrive.
It's essential for us to live in peace and harmony in order to allow socio-economic activities to thrive.
Governor Wike of Rivers State, who spoke on the alarming dimension of insecurity in Nigeria, emphasized on the need to support the Nigerian army in tackling the menace.
We don't need to look back to say, look, take whatever money that's available and equip the military in order to fight the insurgency we're experiencing today. But it amazes me that the last people, when they came, that federal government they took $1 billion from our SS Crude account in order to equip the military then. But from what I was watching on television, that equipment were not there.
Governor Wike lamented that previously money had been taken from the excess crude oil account to finance the military, but the impact were never felt. He used the occasion to urge the army to shun partisan politics.
In 2019, he saw the army directly being involved in the electoral process, carrying ballot boxes, papers. I've never seen that happen in my life.
Since his inception as the Chief of Defense Staff, this is the first time General Lucky Rabo has visited Rivers State.
President Muhammadu Buhari and state governors from the northwest and north-central zones of the country have ended a one-day meeting in Abuja to address security challenges in the two geopolitical zones that have come under frequent attacks by insurgents, bandits, and kidnappers. The meeting provided yet another opportunity for the governors to share content information on efforts so far deployed to address the situation and difficulties in achieving any meaningful success. After rising from the crucial meeting with the President, the Chairman, Northern Governors Forum, and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, told newsmen that a lot of grounds were covered during the discussions. He said the governors are hopeful that the security situation in the two geopolitical zones will soon be improved.
Meeting is in respect of some of the common features of insecurity that we have within our state. You recall that many of the states have some of the insecurities that are very similar. So within us here, we have a lot of them that are similar. We put them together on how to address some of those issues. And we felt that we must also meet Mr. President about it. It's about the insecurity. But the takeaway will say that the meeting with the President was very fruitful, and we are also very committed, and we have seen a lot of commitments, so we're waiting for the implementation.
Present at the meeting were Governors Bello Matawale of Zamfara State, Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi, Nasir Erufai of Kaduna, Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger, and Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa, who all made submissions on the current security situation in their respective states. A former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, has said that President Muhammadu Buhari's statement publicly supporting the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, shows where he stands on terrorism. Buhari, through his special advisor on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, threw its weight behind the minister amidst call for his resignation. The calls followed revelations which linked Pantami with terrorist organizations Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Shehu, in the statement, said, and I quote, "The administration stands behind Minister Pantami." Reacting via her Twitter, Ezekwesili said, in that singular act of siding with the Minister of Communications actually conveyed a message on his view on terrorism. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has faulted the president for his recent statement in which he declared his support for the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami. It said the statement by the presidency has shown desperation to provide official cover for a terrorism apologist, alleging that such action confirmed the apprehensions that the All Progressives Congress APC administration was patronizing acts of terrorism in the country. The PDP accused the presidency of being insensitive to the fact that thousands of Nigerians have been killed and hundreds of communities devastated. It insisted that Pantami must be relieved of his duties as a minister and handed over to the appropriate agency for de-radicalization. The federal government has announced plans to check touting, extortion and other sharp practices by passport officers nationwide and abroad. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, who made the disclosure in Abuja, said undercover agents will be deployed in passport offices across the nation and at the Nigerian missions abroad. He said the country had in the past witnessed several challenges, which included shortage of booklets, touting, racketeering, inflating the cost of passports being used to or issued to ineligible persons. According to the minister, an ombudsman will be created for members of the public to receive complaints and reports on officers trying to deviate from prescribed guidelines and subversion of the process. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, as well as the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, and other relevant stakeholders to address the problem with the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN. He explained that this became necessary to ensure the issues raised by the judiciary workers who have been on a nationwide strike since early April were resolved to resume activities in various courts across the country. Senator Ngige briefed reporters after the meeting with the president at the State House in Abuja, the nation's capital. He noted that the meeting was to intimate President Buhari on the industrial actions by various unions in the country. The minister said he also briefed the president about ongoing efforts by his ministry and resolutions raised, including a review of hazard allowance. President Buhari gave the directive following a failed negotiation meeting between the federal government and the striking workers. We'll now take a quick break, and when we return, we'll bring you more reports. Please stay with us.
Clearview TV is online.
Hello and welcome to Clearview Television News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja.
But the daily 7 p.m. news is broadcast on DSTV channel 255, MITV, with particular reference to gainful employment for all. You can also link up as you like us on Facebook, Clearview Television, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. Nigeria needs employment generation by governments and all, for many reasons. Some are serious about this, but many others are not. 7 p.m. news on YouTube, Clearview TV every day says it all. Subscribe now.
You're welcome back. And now to education. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has introduced a new feature in the ongoing registration for the 2021 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination and Direct Entry. The feature, Know Your Registration Officer, is to fortify the registration process and guard against abuse and manipulation by candidates. JAMB's head of media and protocol, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, said in a statement that the feature was to fortify the registration process and ensure that candidates know where and who is registering them for the 2021 UTME and DE. The 2021 UTME and DE is ongoing and due to close on 15 May 2021. Meanwhile, no fewer than 20 inmates have indicated interest to write the 2021 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME. The spokesman of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Lagos State Command, Rotimi Oladokun, disclosed this to newsmen. He said the UTME, being conducted annually by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, is expected to begin on June 5th. Oladokun said that the inmates will be adequately prepared for the examination despite the attempted jailbreak on the facility in 2020. The inmates at the custodial during the 2020 NSAS process attempted to set the facility ablaze in order to escape. However, the timely intervention of the military, police and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps foiled the attempt. Oladokun said that more inmates indicated interest to further their education, having gone through several reform programs. Ekiti State University Ado-Ekiti this Saturday proscribed all labor unions and shut down the institution indefinitely following a protest over poor staff welfare. The university authorities have also instructed the students to vacate the campus without delay. These are contained or were contained in a statement by Bode Olofin Magun, Head Directorate of Information and Corporate Affairs of the university. He said the governing council of the university decided to close down the institution in order to safeguard lives and property. Crisis between the university authorities and workers erupted on Monday after workers of the institution across the various unions hired a live band and turned the main entrance of the institution to a party ground. According to the workers, the move was part of a strategy to press home their demands over alleged unpaid salaries and allowances, among other things. The workers' actions paralyzed both academic and non-academic activities on the campus, as both workers and students were denied access to the campus. Speaking with news at the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, Mr. Aziz Aguda, the Secretary of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the university branch, said members' action will continue until government prevailed on the university authorities to accede to their demands. He listed the demands to include payments of July, August and September salaries in 2018, remittance of cooperative and pension dues and reinstatement of sacked workers, among several others. The union also accused the university authorities of reneging on the commitments of the Memorandum of Understanding or agreement they signed with the workers' representatives, an event that was witnessed by members of the State House of Assembly in the year 2020. Reacting, the university authorities said that most of the demands of the workers were made during the lifetime of the previous administration. The authorities, however, said that some of the demands had been addressed while others were in the process of being tackled. The authorities said it was not true that the university had reneged on the Memorandum of Agreement they signed with the various unions in 2020. Staying on education, Bauchi State Government says it is set to employ more hands to teach in primary and junior secondary schools in the state. This, according to the governor, is in a bid to provide quality basic education across the state. Governor Bala Mohammed made the commitment when he flagged off the distribution of better education service delivery for all.
A survey conducted by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF indicates that the population of out-of-school children in Nigeria has risen from 10.5 million to 13.2 million, the highest in the world. The survey further reveals that Bauchi State is topping the chart of the northern state with the highest out-of-school children. The Bauchi State Commissioner for Education, Dr. Aliyu Tilde, is alarmed by the consistent drop in the number of enrolled children in the state primary and secondary schools.
212,000 children enroll into the primary one. But at the end of primary 6, the number of children that we counted were 105,000. So about 50% have dropped.
Applauding the Commissioner of Education for identifying the lacuna in Bauchi education, the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed assured that his administration is poised to change the narrative through the provision of facilities and adequate manpower.
Let me assure the good people of Bauchi State that this administration is aware of the mass retirement in the local education authorities, and we are working very hard to come with the biometrics so that we can employ new teachers after removing the impurities of ghost workers that are still prevalent.
The governor appreciated the relentless efforts of the Universal Basic Education Commission and other stakeholders in the education sector for being supportive in the state government effort towards improving the standard of education in Bauchi State.
Now, the year may be considered as not a good one or very good one for the Nigerian entertainment industry. The reason is that the year appears to be fast into a season of deaths, as many actors and comedians are kicking the bucket now and then. In this report, Clearview TV's Mexi AK brings to memory the sad exits of popular actors and comedians to the chagrin of many of their fans.
Death is inevitable and a cap that is fitting on everyone. But the death of loved ones can be very excruciating and the memories often difficult to let go. The Nigerian entertainment industry is indeed passing through a difficult time with the loss of its renowned actors, actresses, and comedians. This sad development, no doubt, is taking its toll on the nation's entertainment, and Nigerians are the worst for it. The most recent is the death of Ada Jesus, an enterprising young comedian. Ada Jesus, who had been battling with kidney cancer, breathed her last on April 21, 2021. Before her was vegetarian broadcaster and actor Sadiq Daba, who died of prostate cancer and leukemia on March 3, 2021. Lambert Dike, a music artist, also gave up the ghost on March 5th this year, just 8 days to his birthday. Ayorinde Faburo, an ace Nigerian producer known as Dr. Fraps, was shot dead, while Ernest Asuzu died on January 26th. This is just to mention but a few, all within a short period of 4 months. We are in April, the first month for the second quarter of the year. Can the year 2021 bring some respite to the Nigerian entertainment industry? May the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. And most importantly, may the Lord protect the living.
And on the foreign scene, Indian hospitals say their patients are dying because of a shortage of oxygen as COVID-19 cases, numbers and deaths set new records for the third day running. India has recorded nearly 1 million infections in 3 days with 346,786 new cases overnight into Saturday. An official said at the Jaipur Golden Hospital in Delhi that 20 people died overnight because of a lack of oxygen. The government says it is deploying trains and the Air Force to transport supplies to hard-hit areas. The number of deaths across India rose by 2,624 in the 24 hours to Saturday, up from 2,263 on Friday. The World Health Organization said the situation in India was a devastating reminder of what the coronavirus could do. Earlier this year, the Indian government believed it had beaten the virus. New cases fell to 11,000 by mid-February. Vaccines were being exported, and in March, the health minister said India was in the endgame of the pandemic. However, since then, a new surge has erupted, driven by the emergence of new variants as well as a mass gathering such as the Kumbh Mela Festival, where millions of pilgrims gathered earlier this month. And that's all on the news. Before we go, a quick recap of our main stories. As Africa awaits a vaccine for malaria, a prevalent disease on the continent, the Ned Walker Foundation has stressed the need for clean home environment to reduce breeding of mosquitoes, a major cause of malaria. The foundation, a brainchild of a former lawmaker, has concluded plans to carry out fumigation across Nigeria. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has accused politicians of funding banditry to run down the present administration. Briefing reporters shortly after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House, Abuja, Uzodinma also condemned calls for secession in the country. The governor's comments came just as former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, criticized President Buhari for rejecting numerous calls for the sacking of the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Isa Pantami, over his past stance in support of terrorism by Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. We also told you that Indian hospitals are now overwhelmed by patients dying as a result of a shortage of oxygen as COVID-19 cases, numbers and deaths set new records for a third day running. And do remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. You can like us on Facebook at Clearview Television. Follow us on Instagram at Clearview TV_NG and on Twitter at Clearview Online. Many thanks for watching. I am Nkiru Omuli.